Let's take a look at equations with multiplication and division. So our first problem says 3x equals 6. Remember that if you do not see a multiplication sign or a dot, like right over here, it's 3x, you have the variable and the coefficient right next to each other, it's going to be multiplication. So we have the inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. And 3 divided by 3 gives you 1x. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. And you have x equals 2. If you remember when we were doing adding and subtracting, it was x plus 0 because we just wanted to get x by itself. This 3 divided by 3, that simplifies to 1, not 0. And you still have an x there. If you want to check it, you have 3x equals 6 if x is 2. Substitute it back in there. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 equals 6, and that does work. Our second example is 12 equals 4y. So again, I'm going to put the bars down, and we're looking for the variable, which is on the right-hand side, and it is connected to the coefficient of 4. So we want to isolate that variable by dividing both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1y. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 3 equals y. Please keep the variable on the side where it is. Don't move it over, because when we get to inequalities, if you move that y to the other side, it will change what your statement says. So this is 3 equals y, and we'll do just a little quick check here. 12 equals 4y. If y is 3, 12 equals 4 times 3, and that is correct. Over here we have 10x equals 5. Our variable x is on the left-hand side. We have a 10 that's connected with it. So it's connected by multiplication, so we will divide. 10 divided by 10 is x. Now be careful over here. This says 5 divided by 10. This is 5/10 or 1/2. X equals 1/2. So we can check it. 10 times 1/2 is 5. Let's take a look at a division problem. Okay, x divided by 3 is 6. It's a division problem. We know it's a division problem because we have this fraction bar. The fraction bar is telling us it's going to be a division. So the inverse of division is multiplication. And I want you to set up the multiplication by using parentheses. Okay? Because it's going to make things a little bit easier. You don't want to use the dot. You definitely don't want to use an x. Setting this up, if you want to put the dot in between, that's fine. You can do that. And you'll notice that over here, you end up having 3x over 3. Like multiply straight across, and that just simplifies out to give you x. And 6 times 3 is 18. And if you checked it and substituted 18, and take your time and actually say 18 divided by 3 is 6. And that's a true statement. What we're looking for down here is making a true statement with the original problem. We aren't looking back here and saying we want it to equal 18. We're equaling what's back in the original. Here we have 15 equals x divided by 3. So we are going to multiply. If you want, there's that dot. Multiply both sides by 3. And 15 times 3 is 45. Be careful with these. Sometimes people will look at the 15 and look at the 3 and they'll automatically say the answer is 5. So this is where if you just do a quick check and you go ahead and try to put the 5 where the x is, you're going to have 5 divided by 3. And that's not going to give you 15. So just be careful. So let me give you another one. 2/3 equals 2/3 x equals 12. Okay, so 2/3 x equals 12. You might be looking at this saying, is this a multiplication problem? It looks like 2/3 times x. What I'm going to have you look at is 2/3 times x. If you were to put a 1 under the x, multiply straight across, you have 2x over 3 equals 12. So 2/3 times x, I'll just put this x in parentheses, is the same as 2x divided by 3, because this is just a whole number x that we can multiply by 2/3. So keep this in mind. We're going to go to the next page. So we have 2/3 x equals 12. Let me erase that smudge mark. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to solve this two ways. I'm going to look at this as a multiplication problem. Multiplication problems are solved by division. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put my fraction bar. I'm going to divide both sides by 2/3. And this is where people will get some mistakes because they won't think that over here this actually says 12 divided by 2/3. Go ahead and put that 1 there. 12 divided by 2/3 is simply 12 times 3/2. Remember, we multiply by the reciprocal, which gives us 36 over 2, which is 18. So x is 18. So now I'm thinking, well, this whole dividing by 2/3, what I usually get is some people will say 12 divided by 2 and then 12 divided by 3, and they end up just making a complete mess of this. So we can look at it as a division problem by actually dividing by 2/3, or we're going to look at it a different way. So I'm going to actually skip right to the multiply by the reciprocal part. And I'm going to multiply this by 3/2 and this side by 3/2. Well, what happens over here? 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 divided by 6 is giving you that 1x. 12 times 3 is 36. Divided by 2 is giving you 18. So you can take care of it in one step by multiplying by the reciprocal, or you can do the division and make it a little bit longer, or there's one other way. You could take this into 2x divided by 3 is 12, and go ahead and take it 2 steps. Multiply by 3, get rid of that denominator. Now you have 2x equals 36, and then go ahead and divide by 2, and you get x is 18. So there are a couple different ways that you can tackle this type of problem. So here are 7 practice problems that you can do, and I will go ahead and put the answers on the next page. Or actually, go ahead and pause this. I'm just going to write the answers underneath in red for you. And you have the answers underneath. Don't forget to show your work like we did on the previous pages. And I hope this helps. Check the website for any other homework.